and you said African universities are far better than the West gives them credit for. Please speak about that, because everybody wants to come. So everybody wants to come to Harvard. Everybody wants to come to Yale,
Princeton.
Hey, they're very good schools. Good schools. I'm not gonna throw any shade at any of the American universities, not too much. But what I have colleagues who've worked for me, particularly in the analytics side, who were educated in West Africa, and one of the things that I was curious about was how hard was it for me? Would it be for me to have got my degree if I went to a West African university? So my background's in mathematics, financial economics, econometrics. And so with the advantage that I have is that it's very much a yes or no, right or wrong type field. Like if you're doing math, the equation is either right at the end or it's wrong for the most part, theoretical math aside. And so I took the financial economics and math final that he had saved. I took it for the University of Ghana and Lagos University. And I was absolutely shocked with how rigorous the finals were. They were actually at graduate level, like in terms of the difficulty of the questions. So anyone who's graduating from these universities, if you're able to survive a West African university, and I could say it's just for math and economics, if you could survive what they do out there, you're absolutely legit. You're fully qualified in math. And I think that because there's not the financial incentive, see, in Western universities, particularly in America, the customer is the student. And what does the student want? The student wants football teams. They want parties. They want a loose alcohol policy. They want to have they want frat houses. And I don't blame them. That's great. When you're 22, of course you want that. But it doesn't coincide with being very good at mathematics. In West Africa, the professor does not give a blankety blank whether you have fun, a social life. They will be sadistic. As far as what I could tell, they are a bunch of sadists who just want to push their students as hard as they possibly can.
Yep.
If their students can't handle it, if they complain to the dean, there is nobody to hold their hands. There's no safe spaces. So frankly, if I'm hiring right now and I'm hiring in those fields, and I know I can get an analyst from West Africa, and he won't be as expensive as the Western person, and he's not going to be soft, I'm going West Africa. Like, why do I want a softie from America when I can get someone who's basically been through the Marine Corps of colleges?
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, if there's any Americans who are tuned in, these are Brad's opinions.
But it's very interesting.
But it's very true.
That Brad is saying this, and we all have gone through the African education system.
Yes.
And what we did in what I guess they'd call elementary as well as secondary, right? Which would be
100.
high school here, right? What we did in there, and then we came over here to college, and you compare the education, you're like, okay, wait.
Yeah.
When is the other shoe gonna drop?
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for that shoe to drop, and it never drops. And you go through 4 years, and if you know what you're doing, you can pull it off in 3 years, and you graduate. And you're like, wait a minute. You mean I didn't have to have the material that I started with in my first year of college? I didn't need to know it in my
third year.
And when I graduated in fourth or whatever, like it's not cumulative.
I'll say this. I was a tutor / adjunct back in the day, long time ago.
You?
Yes.
Say it again and look at the camera.
I was a math tutor and an adjunct. Now, we are talking about college.
Correct.
In high school,
yes.
I don't know if it has changed, but there was a point where math became optional. Math was optional towards, I think, your last 2 years.
Where you're talking about
here. Yep. Math is optional.
Okay.
Mathematics is optional. Was optional. I don't know if it still is, and I can be. But I know my experience was at one point mathematics was optional in Baltimore.
Wow.
City.
Okay, that's interesting.
But it's mandatory in college. So you'll find freshmen.
Yes.
If you don't succeed or pass, you have to take developmental math.
Yes.
Developmental math
Which
is
has
ideally
no college credit.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
In order for you now to proceed to college algebra, you have to do developmental. You know what developmental math is?
Yeah.
-2 + 3.
What?
Yeah, he's true. This is true.
Okay.
Minus you have to this you're tutoring college students on addition and subtraction. BODMAS. Okay?
Brackets of division.
Forget 2x plus 3y equals whatever.
Here, I think.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we're talking about 2xy plus 3 whatever. No.
Basic math.
Basic math. And we're talking about students who have been accepted into college.
Wow, that's
Okay?
quite interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now when Omosh is talking about waiting for the shoe to drop, I'm like, you remember the show where being punked, or is it pranked? Punked. So imagine
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. So imagine at that time I'm waiting. Okay, what's going on over here? Because this is not making any sense.
Yeah.
So you were waiting for Ashton Kutcher to pop up.
At,
and
you
tell
know
that
whatever
you're
like what's going on?
Year one.
And I'm like, Allah, because and it is true that even in class, you're in college, you're attending class and you're looking at exactly what is being taught. You're like, wait, I learned that in Form 2, Form 3, sometimes Form 4. Those are levels of high school.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think this is like 12th grade, 11th,
yes.
11th.
Yeah.
10th, and 9th.
10th, 11th, and 12th. Because we finished at 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Right.
finished at
We
12.
finished
So
at 12.
then we entered high school in what, 9th grade?
Ninth grade,
9th,
yeah.
10th.
Yes.
So stuff we learned in 10th grade, 11th, is what is now being addressed in college.
In
This
college.
university.
Either first year or second year.
So
Depends
it
on what
becomes-
subject you take.
it becomes one of
Biology or
those-
chemistry or whatever.
And and so you'd be perceived as what we would call the equivalent of a chop. You're bright, you're chop. Oh my God, how do you do this? I'm like, I did this in high school.
It's funny, when my nephews were like on the, I think like the 3rd, the 4th grade, I was showing them, there's a different style of math that's done here. So I was showing them how I was doing, like some long multiplications.
Yep.
And they thought I was a wizard, they were like, wow, how can you do that? So I told them this. I told them something that they thought it was a lie. And when my mom came now, like their grandma,
Right.
she confirmed to them, I was like, when I was in the equivalent of what's 3rd grade here, age maybe 9, 8, 9, 10, I'm not sure exactly where, I had memorized the math table. You
Yes.
could wake me up in the morning
Yep.
and ask me 11 times 12.
Yep.
And I would give you the answer. And by that age, I could do, like those long multiplications. We had been taught how to do that in
Yep.
that class.
Yep. And you lay it down and you
Yeah.
go down and
And they found that they were like, whoa, like how is that even possible? So that's
In addition to that,
Well, you guys are talking too much.
sorry, I was going to ask if Mika went to school.
Sorry, my bad, Mika.
No.
Go ahead,
I
engineer.
have experience for undergrad in Kenya and grad school in America, and I can say grad school was easy.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them were engineering courses.
Yeah, you did engineering at
So-
home, right?
Yep, but I did engineering here for grad school too.
Okay.
Yep, and I can actually tell you that grad school was very easy. The only boring part was writing of the papers. There's a lot of writing over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You type a lot.
Yeah.
Now there's ChatGPT. And
You will fail, my friend.
no,
You can always
just
hire a Kenyan to write your
ChatGPT.
stuff.
There you go. Actually, CBS did a feature.
Yeah,
on-
you saw that. You saw that. Yes.
Chat
Yes.
GPT
No,
and PDF
no,
and
Look, college kids are hiring Kenyans.
They're hiring Kenyans to write their
oh,
papers.
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
I know a guy who does it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hire Kenya. Don't use ChatGPT.
Okay.
I was gonna
Guys,
say-
make jobs for
ChatGPT is
Kenyans,
great.
okay?
Yes, no, I
Kids?
know a guy who does it.
Kids hire Kenyans. Don't use ChatGPT.
I was gonna say it's PEMDAS. Our BODMAS is PEMDAS.
PEMDAS, yeah,
And
PEMDAS.
Trish, by the way, is
A teacher.
a teacher. Not only is she a teacher, I think
She's an educator.
an assistant principal. If she's not a
Oh
principal.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe
Trish.
maybe
Yes.
Trish can tell us a bit more about. And she's saying here the new math is supposed to promote deep thought rather than just cramming.
Okay.
And actually, that is very true, because the thing is this:
Logbook. Oh, sorry.
when I was in high school in Kenya, in Form 1, our math teacher died.
Oh.
And then, so we were brought another math teacher called Mr. Kiari, and Mr. Kiari used to teach math with a Kikuyu accent, Papedikira, blah, blah, blah. So we didn't get anything, and we zoned out, the whole class. So our class, Y, Form 1, Y, Form 2, Form 3, we used to get the worst results in math. Like, we were the worst class in math. So when we got to Form 3 that time, we got another teacher, and he told us, I'm going to teach you how to pass exams. And you remember the Kenyan examination had
2 papers.
Section 1 and Section 2,
Yes.
right? It had 2 papers, but each paper had Section 1 and Section 2.
Correct.
And the Section 1, so he taught us how to do that first equation without using logarithm, the number 1 question, the one that used without using your log tables. Remember, that was the first question?
Yes.
And then now he taught us now things like calculus, trigonometry, circumnavigation, linear equations,
Quadratic equations.
linear graphs. Yeah. So he taught
And
us
this
those
is high school.
questions that
Yeah.
the ones that came with 12 marks
with
for
higher
those.
marks.
And he was
Yes.
like, yes. And he was like, if you pass this and you pass that, you've gotten a 55. That's a C in math, and you're passed. So that is how we managed to lift our math grades in high school. Fast forward to college, math became the easiest subject because now we realize that actually what math did was it allowed your thinking capacity. You
100%.
being able to sit down and do those equations, because now when you go to engineering and you want to do classes like thermodynamics, materials, reactor engineering, those were math plus chemical equations added into them. You are being asked to calculate the density of metal that is going to be able to support the weight structure
columns
of 50-story building.